All right, here we go. Betting Weekly Live. Here with you on a Friday, heading into the weekend. Mike Carver and Doug Kezirian as we get you ready for all of tonight's action. NBA, NHL, college hoops. Get you ready for Sunday, AFC and NFC title game. We have all of that to discuss as well. So a very, very busy Friday show for us here. Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Doug, happy Friday, and great to be back on the Daily Double train last night. We got a couple down to the wire ones, but we were able to push it across.
Yeah, a lot of nice covers there at the very end. It's good. It's good. That's what it takes sometimes. So we cash a plus 248. Can't have the morning team be blowing us out of the water. We gotta close that gap. So nice to have a plus 248 cash and a nice little launching pad heading into the weekend.
I even tried the whole jinxing. Like, I think I texted you, like, this is over. Like, they're not getting this over. This game has completely hit a wall. And you're like, there's some time. Just wait. You got some time.
Sometimes my score app doesn't like update. So I was like, oh, damn. It's like, it needs to kick in. And because I figured like you were dejected and lost or whatever. And I was like, oh, the old reverse jinx.
Yeah, we got it.
That veteran move at a Carver.
Needed 10 points in the last 8 seconds. Think about that to get it. But we were able to get there with Denver and North Dakota State, and Wemby banging the three for the Spurs at the end of the first half. So good job, Daily Double, back on track. Let's get things moving. All right, before we get to the NFL, which is where we're going to start. Of course, we always want to let you know about what we've got going on for the Australian Open right now. Bonus code at Bet Rivers, BWAO. That's the letter O, 26. Put that in your Bet Rivers app. You get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. Look at that. That code again, BWAO, letter O, 26. Offer expires on January 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, when you log in every day on Bet Rivers, you can receive a daily Australian Open profit boost to use on the day's matches. So the Aussie Open here, turning the corner towards the second week. A lot going on down under. And listen, the tennis, Nigel and the crew, they've been hitting it with the tennis, so they're doing a great job with that. All right, Doug, Championship Sunday, let's go. NFL, Final Four teams. The last, real football Sunday. So I know we got the Super Bowl, but that's more of like it's like an all-day affair. There's so many things going on, and there's more to it than just the game. This is our last real football Sunday, and it starts at 3:00 East in Denver with the Patriots and the Broncos here. We know, of course, the big story. We've talked about it all week. No Bo Nix. He is out. Jarrett Stidham is going to start. Patriots, we saw 5.5, 6 early in the week. We have them at -4.5 here on Friday. Total at 42.5. Vrabel, May, and the crew heading out to what sounds like, Doug's actually going to be pretty cold out in Denver on Sunday afternoon.
Which is normal for the entire country, right? It's par for the course, just given everything that's going on. Look, I think this market's been a little out of whack, but I think that's expected, right? Odds, and I talk about this all the time. Odds makers don't know what Jarrett Stidham's power rating is, with what Denver is with or without Bo Nix. It's a guessing game, right? They put up a number, the market reacts. It went from 4 to 5.5, touch 6, back to 5.5, and now down to 4.5. I think 5's as high as it's going to go back up. It's not going. I think it settles at 4. Sean Payton didn't lose John Elway, right? He's got Bo Nix, and he likes Bo Nix, but he likes him with the rookie salary as well towards the cap. And Jarrett Stidham has been sort of handpicked to be in this offense, given that he's been able to glean wisdom from guys like McDaniels, Brady, if he played for Brady, I'm not sure. But either way, he's McDaniels and now Sean Payton. So he could be fine. He's not going to be great. He could be fine. And the Patriots defense just faced a horrendous CJ Stroud. So maybe Stidham just has to be sort of like average or okay. And all of a sudden you have a good quarterback because of who they just faced in CJ Stroud. So I'm going to single out this Broncos defense. I'm going to go Patriots team total over. I think they're going to be able to, look, I'm expecting Drake May to play well. He has not played that great in the last 2 playoff games. So I'm expecting him to get there. And I think we're going to see some points here. I think Denver's going to have to throw against this Patriots defense, right? You can't run on them. So I think they're going to have to throw. I think we're going to see points. Maybe it won't be quite the shootout we saw last week with Buffalo, but I think we'll see points. I believe in McDaniels. I don't believe in this Denver defense. I think Drake May should be okay.
Listening to everybody this week, Doug, and you talk to a lot more people, obviously on the sharp side and stuff like that in Vegas than I do, and just listening to people talk about this game, it almost sounds like people are trying to talk themselves into Denver. Like it's like they're just trying to talk themselves in. Maybe it's a home team getting points, whatever the situation is. I'm not feeling it, Doug. I'm just not. Like I'm laying this with the Patriots. I don't really care. 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. I don't care. I'm taking the Patriots here. I'm taking Drake May. I'm taking their defense, which I think is kind of being the most disrespected unit maybe going here. They've been pretty darn good, the Pats D. I wasn't impressed with Denver's defense at all last Saturday against the Bills. I'm kind of surprised so many people have kind of, to me at least, maybe I'm wrong, sounds like they're just trying to find ways to take Denver, and I'm just not having it. I'm going to take the Pats.
Well, instead of tweeting through it like people get mocked on Twitter, let's talk through it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? What would keep you off the line to be 6? What do we need to get you not on New England?
Probably 7, to be quite honest with you. I think they're a touchdown better, and I just don't know. I don't trust I'm not getting in on the Jarrett Stidham train. I'm just not. I think it's
so hard. You don't believe in the offense against this Patriots defense.
I know that Sean Payton's a wizard. I understand all of that. Offensive genius, all of those things. He doesn't go out there and play. Jarrett Stidham hasn't played in 2 years, Doug. And that is the thing that's kind of ingrained in me the most. Like this guy's coming out this week after this has only been done once, Doug, in like the Super Bowl era, that a guy started a playoff game and then without starting a game all year in the regular season, then wins a playoff game. Frank Reich, only guy to do it. And Jarrett Stidham's going to do it this week? I don't see it. I just don't.
So what about Nick Foles? What about some of these other situations? They started during the regular season?
Yes, they had some run-up. Okay. Hostetler started a couple regular season games and the other playoff games. Foles had some run-up. Some of these guys, this guy's coming in AFC title game. He
hasn't thrown a pass. He hasn't thrown a pass.
That's what I'm saying. And I don't want to disrespect Sean Payton here because believe me, I'm sure he's sitting around this week thinking that I got a chance to, add another layer to my greatness if I somehow won this game. And I'm sure that Sean Payton is doing that. I'm not buying it, Doug, and I'm not believing it. I'm taking New England. And I think that they're going to take care of business here on Sunday. That's just and you know what? Your team like total?
20-6 kind of thing? Or is this Denver offense not going to get anything done?
24-10? Something like that. I get 20-6, 24-10. So I think we're right in that. I think the New England defense is really good. I do. And I think you're going to see that on Sunday. I felt it the last couple of weeks, and I know Stroud kind of threw up all over himself, but the New England defense is pretty good too. And it pains me to say this, Doug. You think I want to see the 2 weeks of Patriots in the Super Bowl?
I do
the
not.
Last thing that I want, Doug. But I'm not buying into the Stidham storybook stuff. I'm just not doing it. I can't. So that's where I am, Doug, on that game. Sounds like you like the team total for the Patriots, but that means maybe not so much the 42.5, though, getting.
Well, look. Okay. So if Denver can't run the ball.
Right.
Okay. Then they're going to have 2nd and 8, 1st and 10, 3rd and 7. What's going to happen? I think it can be some check down Charlies. I think in this day and age, there's going to be guys open all the time. It's just, I know Gonzalez is a lockdown corner, but there's going to be dudes open. Yeah, I think Peyton can scheme guys open. I mean, I don't want to necessarily come back to this, but Mendoza is told before the play who's going to be open. Okay. Right. Now that's scouting and very limited defense because they're colleges. But Peyton's going to be like, all right, you're going to have a running back out of the backfield. And look, it's 3rd and 7. He gets a dump off. The guy's got to make a play. I'm of the belief that they're going to make some plays here and there.
Okay.
And if the Denver defense isn't good, which I don't think it is, then Drake May should be able to score on this team. So I just think you can't keep competent off. I mean, look, Phillip Rivers came off the couch and was able to move the ball and score, right?
Yep.
Like there's guys open. Now, is Stidham as advanced as Phillip Rivers? No, but he's not being asked to call every play at the line of scrimmage after the 15 seconds gets cut off with the head coach in the green dot. So I just think with these playmakers on offense, there's got to be some fast dudes open. I mean, look, last week was a shootout and they had a bunch of turnovers in Denver and they still had 1,000,000 points. The Patriots defense played fine, played pretty well against Herbert, but that offense was inept and shot itself in the foot. C.J. Stroud was terrible, okay? There were numerous turnovers. They should have moved the ball a little bit, and that Houston offense stinks, okay? Even when Stroud's like regular season form and not like he was last week. It's just really hard to drive, punt. I just think there's going to be some points, and the fact that it's 4.5, that's why I'm focused more on the team total. I don't want to get inside the number there.
Now, a few things have come off across the bottom of our screen here, as in the chat box, which is great. And let me bring a couple up. One of them was the Stidham rushing total, and you got 198.5 for the passing. His rushing is 14.5, which I did see come across in the chat box, and I think it was Petey that also put in there. It's been a pretty weird year in the NFL, and it feels like every time whatever seems like the most illogical outcome is the one that's happened this year. Does that mean Denver money line is the because it's been such a weird, strange season in the NFL?
I think some of that is ebb and flow of a season, like look ahead spot, flat spot, sandwich, all those tricks of the trade. I don't think it applies to the playoffs. The playoffs have been chalky except for the Eagles with a high school coordinator, okay? Like that's really what they were. It was the most elementary offense across the board. Aside from that, it's been chalky in terms of the money lines, right? So like the Rams could have blown them out, didn't against the Panthers. Then the next week, I mean, like the Niners didn't go into Seattle. They didn't have a chance, right? The Rams Bears was a coin flip game, but that was like that closed -3, -30 basically, right?
Yeah.
And that was right there. So with this kind of game, like I wouldn't be shocked if the Broncos won. The line's 4.5, let's be honest, right? But I just think it could be, especially with the low total, it could be right there inside the number, one of those things. So that's why I'd rather focus on the Patriots offense because I just don't think Denver's going to be, 3 and out all day. This isn't going to be when they had a third string wide receiver playing quarterback.
Let's do some player props here in this game before we get to Rams and Seahawks. Stidham with the passing. It's under 200. It's 198.5. And I could absolutely see this, even though I'm sitting here yelling New England. I see it because I think they're going to be down and I think they're going to be throwing. But give me some 198.5 for Stidham.
Yeah, I mean, that's where I am because you can't run on this team, right? So, I mean, I was looking for a running back prop at Bet Rivers for Denver, and I'm just not getting it. So I think this is the right way to play it. I think over. I don't think he's going to be this Tim Tebow type where he's going to run the ball a bunch of times too and get first downs. I think it's going to be get the ball out. Oh, look, Sean Payton's a madman. I think there's a part of him that's enjoying this challenge where he can sort of flex offenses. I mean, look what Matt LaFleur did with Malik Willis, right? He made, chicken salad out of chicken crud. So I think we can go like 5 wide from the start and just bang, 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 right?
Yeah.
Like 4-yard hitch, tight end, screen pass. That's what I would do if I'm Denver. I would go 5 wide and then have over the top, down the field speed burner just in case they cheat up the safeties and guys are going to be open every time. You can't, if you go 5 wide and you just put it where they're not. Now, obviously linebackers and zones can make a read and stuff and you got to dink and dunk and matriculate up the field. So it increases the margin for error. But if you do that, there's nothing a defense can do if you do it the right way. But you get a tip pass from a defensive lineman maybe who stops rushing and just gets his paws up, or you get a linebacker, or you do some sort of 7 guys at the line of scrimmage and 3 drop back, but you don't know which 3 are going to drop back. So there's ways defenses can confuse things. I just think if I'm Sean Payton, that's what I do. I come out slinging and you soften them and then you go to the run. Usually it's you soften the pass up with the run, kind of like the Iowa Hawkeyes offense, the stretch handoffs just to set up the play action in the third quarter. I think you do it the reverse and just keep them guessing.
Yeah, look, under 200 in a game like this for the starting quarterback, it's a go for me. I like it a lot here. I'm going to go on the New England side, Travion Henderson. And I know, Doug, the last couple of weeks in these playoff games, it definitely feels like Vrabel and the coaching staff have put more trust in Ramondre Stevenson. I agree with that. I'm going off of what I saw last week against the Denver defense. I don't think that the style that Stevenson runs, which is kind of between the tackles, a little bit more smash and bash, I don't think that's what worked. Cook is more of a slash kind of home run hitter type of running back, and he had a big day, 117 yards against Denver. I know the Bill offensive line is better than the New England offensive line. I get that, but I'm going to go Henderson here because I think it's too light, Doug, 34.5. I think he could hit a home run in this game, and maybe that gets us close, if not over it. So I'm taking Henderson 34.5 over Rush.
So he's obviously the home run piece, and he's got the speed, and he's much more, he's much more effective than just a home run third down back kind of thing, right? But Stevenson's back in the mix, right? Those early season fumbles. Now he's in the rotation. So I just don't know what I'm getting in terms of the play calls and the assignments. That's the headache. I mean, it's going back to the Belichick days. Patriots running backs are headaches for fantasy owners. I would not bet under because he could, to your point, he can get this in one play. And this Broncos defense actually is very overrated. So, yeah, maybe just bet both guys over too. But I think Stevenson's going to be the bell cow. Henderson, you just don't know when he's going to go, but he's going to let it rip for sure.
Well, I'm going to go with one of my 3 touchdowns this week for Stevenson. So I'm actually going to do a little something with both the New England running backs. I'm going to take Stevenson to score from down low, 155. For the guy who's been getting the touches inside the 5 for New England, 155 is a really good number for Stevenson. So I'm going there. And the other one is a little bit of a dart throw here, but Milton Williams to have a sack at plus 155. He had 2 sacks against the Chargers, was very involved in the Houston game last week. And we're talking the middle of the New England defensive line. I think the Bills did a poor job on this. I just didn't think they had the personnel to do it last week. I think the middle of that Denver offensive line is where you want to attack. They're very good on the edges. You want to be inside. We saw what Milton Williams did with the Eagles last year in the playoffs and the Super Bowl. He made impact plays. I'm going to him here, Doug, at plus 155 to get a sack.
I can't say I've broken down a lot of pass rushers for sacks. I do like that you can push that, right? You can push a half sack.
Yes.
So why isn't it 0.25? Why isn't it 0.25?
Right. Yeah, that's very true. Over a half plus sack for Milton Williams there in that one. Pats and Broncos, Doug, the first game on Sunday. All right. Again, Harold Landry out for New England. Linebacker, not going to play. Matt Collins, questionable. He hasn't played in a while with his abdomen. Carlton Davis, concussion, questionable. A lot of New England guys here. J.K. Dobbins. Now, that's interesting, too, because he hasn't played in a long time either, Doug. Dobbins. Would that change your thoughts on the Denver running game if Dobbins is active for this game?
Not really.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure how much either. Franklin, hamstring limited as well. So lots of guys to look at Sunday morning before this one starts. All right, second game. Rams Seahawks NFC title just after 6:30 East, round 3. Of course, Rams with the 21-19 win in LA. Seahawks, the crazy 38-37 win in overtime, the late in the season Thursday night game at home again in Seattle. This is minus 2.5 for the Seahawks, 46.5 the total.
I lean Seattle. The spot really favors them, obviously at home, and third straight road game for the Rams. But LA kind of has this defense's number. Let's be fair, right? You got Adams, you got Nakua, the running backs. There's a lot to like with this Rams offense. I will say I was a little concerned at the end of the game with the Bears, just how vanilla the play calling was with Stafford. End of regulation, took a knee. Even in overtime, I actually thought Stafford was hurt and was saying that Jimmy G should go because they ran the ball like 6 straight plays. So, assuming he's fine, which I am, I think we could be in for a classic. So I lean to the 2.5. Don't love it. Defense is absolutely legit, but I got to put a lot of stock in what the Rams have been able to do against the Seattle D.
That is kind of where I'm lying. I will lean to the other side. I'm leaning to the Rams to get it done in Seattle. It's kind of two things for me, Doug. Number one, I really liked how McVay last week after that game in Chicago kind of really owned a lot of things. You know, I did things wrong. I shouldn't have called things this way. I should have ran the ball more. I should have did this. McVay's a smart dude. I think that he's going to really come with his A game. Not that he wouldn't anyway. It's the NFC title, but still. And he also has in the back of his mind, Doug, blowing a 16-point lead to this team not too long ago, and really should have won that game in Seattle. I know you had the crazy 2-point play. Seahawks win for 2 in overtime in the win. I think with McVay, he's done a very good job moving the football against this Seahawks defense. I'm a little worried about Stafford, Doug, and that's kind of what causes me to maybe be fully all in here. He hasn't seemed completely right with whether it's his finger, his hand, whatever it's been the last couple of games. But I'm going to bank on McVay and Stafford here on Sunday. That's kind of where my head's lying.
How much of the McVay's comments were, I don't know, protecting Stafford or whatever?
Very possible. Very possible, right? Do you think that maybe he sees what kind of some of us see, that it doesn't seem like he doesn't seem like the same guy who's probably going to win the MVP from the regular season? There seems like something's a little compromised.
Well, he's no spring chicken, so you just wonder all these games adding up. And didn't he begin the season with some back issues? Like, I just wonder if, it just takes its toll eventually, right? Like Rivers was fine for a couple games. He couldn't do a whole season.
I mean, remember before the year, there was talk he might not even play like in the offseason. Right. Remember, like he was going to like shut it down and not even. So look, there could be some stuff like that we don't even know about. With him as well.
That's what I was wondering.
Under wraps, right? I mean, none of these coaches would finagle with the injury report, Doug. We're not saying that. Nobody would do that. Not put the correct stuff on the injury report. Who knows with them? But I'm going to put some trust in McVay and Stafford, and they're going to look. I don't think this is going to be as easy for Darnold as it was last Saturday. Darnold really,
you think?
He didn't have to do anything.
You're not going to get an opening kickoff for a touchdown, and you're not going to have an inept offense and Purdy spending the entire afternoon on his back.
Darnold's going to have to go, he's obviously going to have to play a big role here. And I go back to 6 interceptions against this team over 2 games, 4 in the first game, 2 in the second game. And I could start the props here too, if you'd like. I mean, sure, is he going to do it a third time? I don't know. 2+ interceptions for Darnold's plus 310 at Bet Rivers. I mean, he's done it both games against them. 2+ interceptions. It feels pretty good for something he's already done.
Late $4 on not having those.
Does Darnold have an INT prop? I believe one, Doug, is about minus 155. I think I saw, if I remember.
There was a time earlier in the year when it was about $1.15, $1.20.
But I am greedy, as we have probably learned by now here on this show, and I'm gonna go for 2 at plus 310 is where I'm going to go and lay my head. How about Kyren Williams, Doug?
So this Seahawks defense is really susceptible to passes to the guy backs out of the backfield. And that's just crazy amounts. So I would ladder it up. I would do 3+ receptions at plus money. I would do 4+ at plus 290. Maybe Bet Rivers will throw Blake Corum up there as well to get 1. I just think that's the way to get to this defense. Kind of like I was talking with Denver. You want to spread them out underneath. You want to tire out the pass rush, things like that. But Kyren Williams had a big day last week, and we were just talking just now about Stafford having miles on these tires in this season. Didn't have a bye week, right? He kind of faded down the stretch, as we saw on that Monday nighter against Atlanta. Had the pick 6s in the Carolina regular season game, and thankfully they padded the stats against Arizona. So I just think Kyren Williams is their answer to keep the sticks moving. And it's not a lot to ask, right? And he's sort of a workhorse in a lot of ways. Quorum will spell him a little bit, but I think that's a really good bet.
I'm with you on anything Kyron Williams really this week. I'm taking him as one of my touchdowns as well. No guts, no glory. Carver there, Diego. No guts, no glory. I am taking Kyron for one of my touchdowns. Believe 135 right now at Bet Rivers, which there was so many weeks, Doug, that we see Kyron Williams at around even money or even minus for +1. And I know Quorum's been a little bit more involved, but you just said the word workhorse. I think when the money's on the table, McVay has Kyron Williams in the game for all these big things. So +135 for him to score, and he has scored a lot against Seattle in his career. I like it a lot. And look, I'm going to get his number right now. He had 70 and 91 against them in the 2 games this year. I think that they have Kyron Williams parked at this moment 53.5 for his rushing yards. So I think it's a Kyron Williams game, especially if the Rams win.
You think they're going to try to run and do all that instead of, other ways to navigate this defense?
I'm not sure if that's probably why I don't have the rushing yards on there this week, Doug. I think as much as I tried, look, last week I really thought they would run. I thought against a bad Bear rush defense in the 0-degree weather that they would run the football. They were flinging it all over the place. So they've scored plenty of points, flinging it all over the place against Seattle this year. He's probably going to throw the football. So maybe 53. It seems light, and he went over it both games against them. I'm going to take my touchdown with him, and I like your receptions with him. I think that's probably better than the rush yards. If we were going to go there. The other one I'll give you, and this is also kind of, unfortunately now, it feels like this is something everybody's kind of picked up on, and I'm upset that I didn't bring it up with you last week, and that is Rashid Shaheed with the rushing yards for Seattle. So he got a carry, obviously, got a couple carries in the San Francisco game last week, including busting one for, I guess it was 25 or 30 yards. He had the one rush. This was 1.5 early in the week. It's 4.5 now. Last week it was 3.5, and he smoked it. You're not going to have Charbonnet out there either. I really like this. I think it's become very trendy. Seems like everyone's talking about it. I'm probably going to actually alt it, Doug. I'm going to look for the big home run. I think 20 plus is like 240 or
2 carries last week.
2 carries last week.
And maybe he would have had more if we didn't get the touchdown in the opening kick.
Right. And the game being basically a blowout. They kind of didn't. There it is. 20 yards plus 260 for 20 rushing yards. Funsy bet, I think, Doug. I think we play the 4.5 straight, and that 30 plus at plus 440. Come on.
Your own personal double-double. Or daily double, excuse me.
Ladder it up. Ladder up Shaheed this week for us. So I kind of like that. And my third touchdown, Doug, to go with Stevenson and Williams is JSN at even money. JSN, he did, even though he didn't have a big game last week, he did score the one passing touchdown that Darnold threw. So, and I feel like
I can't do even monies or minus monies on touchdown scores.
He's going to be the guy he throws to.
It's true.
Is look, maybe AJ Barner, a little AJ Barner touchdown going, or
I don't know. There's some big tight end. Who knows?
Yeah, that could be the guy. I mean, look, after JSN, obviously Walker and JSN are heavy money there. Barner's plus 200. Cup is plus 310. How about Cup? Cup revenge touchdown was a little more involved last week. Can we get that? Cup better than JSN? Bet.
What about any other Seahawks player 30-1? Or for the first or last, like defensive touchdown, basically.
Any other Seahawk player, first or last?
So you get some fix six or some corner.
Okay. I know I love the big numbers, Doug. You can always talk me into very big numbers. 34
What
and
about
30.
110 to 1 no touchdown in the game?
I don't have I can't go that far.
Could you go there for Denver, New England?
What is it for that game? Gotta be less.
I don't know, but it feels like it's more possible.
For that game, it is. Work fast here and get it up. 75. 75 to 1. First for
It's not the worst bet in the world.
Little Happy Meal
What about
bet?
defensive score? What about Seattle defensive score?
Seattle defensive score. Now that I could absolutely maybe.
It's kind of what I'm. You're probably going to get like 9 to 1 or something, right? 12 to 1.
Probably. Don't see that. They don't have the straight defense listed here for
Special teams defense.
Yeah.
What about doing JSN in a particular quarter? You can get plus 410 in the second quarter.
Plus 410 for him to score in the second quarter. Now, that's something where we'd have to, that's like math and do mathing right there. We got to do a lot of mathing on that, right, Doug? To kind of figure all that out. That's a lot of math.
Great content right here.
All right. Well, look, Rams, Seahawks, Seahawks minus 2.5, 46.5 for us on Sunday. Anything else in that before we move on, Doug, with the Rams and the Seahawks? Is there anything else?
Look, I guess, while we flirt with all these payouts, I would just say, be careful. Like, there's only 2 games. There's a lot of things on the menu. We're going to have this as well for the Super Bowl, but sometimes if there's no angles, like I think I'll have like 3 bets combined in both games. Like, you just can't get carried away. Don't just try to fill up the notepad with a bunch of wagers unless you have strong conviction.
Take Doug's advice, because I'll be out there just, throwing more logs on the fire. Or in the middle of the game, here we go. Let me throw another log out there. So take Doug's advice. I'm going to try to stick to Doug's advice, and we're going to see how it goes for me on Sunday during the games. All right, NFC, AFC title games. I'm pumped. Sunday, let's go. I'll be snowed in. I'm not going to be able to leave the house. I've got everything all set up and ready to go. So let's do it. All right, let's get to tonight, Doug. How about NBA? We have got 8 games this evening, including a game on Prime. Why don't we start there with the Rockets and the Pistons just after 7 o'clock East. Pistons minus 4.5, 218 the total.
I really like Detroit here. I was texting an odds maker. He made it 4.5 too, given the Rockets coming off the OT, but back-to-back road games. Cade Cunningham upgraded to probable. I think this is a butt whooping here. This Pistons team can score. I don't think much of this Rockets team. Durant and a couple of the other guys are just kind of like going through the motions a little bit. I'm actually surprised they played as hard as they did yesterday. Now, Reed Shepherd, you got to be really careful with him. He can go off, and they find him too in that second unit, so to speak, end of the first, beginning of the second. But I think the Pistons just attack the rim with oodles of athleticism. Little Thompson brothers, squaring off here. But I like the Pistons here. I think this is a strong play.
Cade Cunningham upgraded to probable for the Pistons tonight. And you also get a Cade Cunningham special at Bet Rivers. Little motorcade. Cade Cunningham to score 25-plus points and the Pistons to win. This is boosted from plus 155 to plus 200. So 25 for Cade and the outright win for Detroit, plus 200.
I like it. Look, this Rockets team's 2-9 ATS in their last 11. One of those covers is that bogus fluke fraud cover against the Spurs when they were laying 4.5 and hadn't led by 5 in the entire game until the last seconds. So I just tells you what I think about this Rockets team. The numbers, the analytics say their offense is good. I say it's not. So, their team total's gone under like 10 of 11 or something ridiculous. So I don't believe in this Houston squad. I think the Pistons are for real.
The later game on Prime Video tonight, just after 9:30 East, Nuggets are in Milwaukee against the Bucks. Bucks minus 7.5, 215.5 the total.
Yeah, really sharp odds maker said he laid the 5.5 with the Bucks. He thinks the spot just really favors Milwaukee, but obviously there's a soap opera going on with this Bucks squad. Giannis trade block potentially with the trade deadline around the corner. They're coming off the Thunder beatdown. They've lost 4 of 5. his angle was that Denver needs to sort of punt on this game, which it's kind of funny, but Denver's at Memphis on Sunday. That's a much more important game because it's within the conference. So this will be that Sunday game will be their third in 4 days, which is bizarre, right? 3 road games in a 4-day stretch. So they go back to back and then Sunday, Memphis. Now they were in at home on Tuesday. So that's 4 in 6 days, which is crazy with, 4 different cities as well. So I can see Denver being not up to snuff and the Bucks looking to unleash some demons here. So I do like Milwaukee. The number's hefty. It sounds fishy, but it's hefty for a reason.
Yeah, big number there. Punt game maybe for the Nuggets.
Yeah, and so the props. I mean, Giannis was asked, like, hey, why aren't you getting the shot attempts? Like, what's going on? He's like, I don't know. Ask my teammate. So it's really one of these, okay, so now what do we make of this Giannis? If you look at his game log, his last, 6 games, you're looking at 19. These are just points. 19, 21, 21, 25, 31, 21. So assuming he went over in that 31 game, but he may not have because I think his totals are around 30 and a half. Like Giannis just isn't getting the shot attempts. Now, do they now feed him and he goes to town? That's the concern. But I would be looking at under this PRA.
We really, Doug, not to get off too far off the beaten path here, like we've really seen like a different Giannis here the last couple of weeks. Like definitely a little bit more surly, the stuff with the fans.
Right.
Like is he putting the flag in the ground here? Like, get me out of here. Like, is that the flag that he's planting?
I think in a perfect world, like I don't think we're ever going to get him like to the media saying I want to be traded. Now, with that being said, to your point, like he has been surly lately, so maybe that'll be sort of a new Giannis that continues to evolve. But I think it's going to be one of those things where the agents handle it, the Bucks handle it delicately. It could be kind of a hard reset, a good hard reset for the Bucks, because right now they're just throwing good money after bad, so to speak, like with the Dame stretch provision. And then get Leonard, and then they're just, hey, we'll get the Ja Morant sweepstakes. That'll keep Giannis. Like, just keep throwing, gifts at him and hoping to keep the girlfriend who really's got one foot out the door.
Jeez.
So I would be careful, but I think there's opportunities for us, right? But I do think this is a bet on spot. It's just, I think Denver's better coached. I think, we've underestimated this Nuggets squad without Jokic a lot this year. 7.5 is a big number, but I do think it's a rout.
Okay. Elsewhere tonight, the Nets coming off an almost 60-point smashing at the Garden against the Knicks now have the Celtics in town tonight. Celtics -8, 216.5 the total.
Yeah, I mean, we know the drill, right? Last time we saw the Jazz lose by 55, they won outright. The next game as a 14-point dog, went, wire to wire. So I would just say Nets first quarter, first half, maybe first to 10, first to 20. It's just, it's hard not to do it. I know the Celtics are intriguing because they have all that firepower. Maybe it's a team total for the Nets. Maybe that's the answer because you don't have to worry about the Celtics bombing threes because there's no defense for that. But I'd be, you just got to bet the spot and just look the other way and hold your nose and do it.
Nets getting 2.5 in the first quarter there tonight at Bet Rivers. So you have that going for you there this evening. Nets coming off the embarrassing loss to the Knicks tonight. Elsewhere, Raptors still out west. They've been out there for a while. They're in Portland tonight against the Blazers. They're laying 224 flat the total.
Yeah, I originally liked this over, and I'm a little off of it now because also coinciding is the Raptors line's going up because of Denny Avdija. It's not expected to play tonight. He's their best player. Now, actually, Portland's played okay without him. This Toronto offense, the one time I bet on him was against the Lakers. I grabbed an in-game. It's +7.5, and I think they scored like 9 points in the fourth quarter against the Lakers. They have since put up 140 plus in each of the next 2 games. I think they can go up and down. This has track meet written all over it. Even without Avdija, you still got all those guys for Portland, Shaedon Sharpe, all those guys. They're really a fun watch if you're up that late. Jeremy Grant's back. Drew Holiday's back. Now, obviously, those are both much stronger defenders than they've had. But Caleb Love is bombing a lot of threes, and the Raptors want to run too. They're a fun watch. Now they can be annoying because they're a weird collection of people. Like they're not guys that I think are necessarily winning players like Brandon Ingram, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, but together they play well because they're well coached. I do like Scotty Barnes. He is a winning player. They still don't have Portal back. Mamu, they call him. He's got like 9 more syllables after that. He's the lefty from the Spurs that he's been with the Raptors now. So I just think it's a very pace and space offense for both teams. The matchup really favors just points. So even without Avdia, I think that's the right way to play this. I'm just checking to see if they played Portland. Yeah, so they combined for 239 when they played each other in December. I just think that's a lot. Now, Avdia went for 25, 14, and 8. So, he's a big part of that, but 15 points above it. Now, and you don't have the defenders now, right? The Portland's added Drew Holiday and Jeremy Grant. Like, that's a big difference maker for the defense. Grant did play in that game, but Holiday's obviously elite defensively.
Yes, he is. All right, we'll rapid fire the rest here. This one caught my eye. Suns have been on the road forever. This is the last game of a 6-game East Coast trip where they've gone from Miami to Detroit to New York, now back down to Atlanta. They have been all over the place, and they finally, after almost 2 weeks on the road, are going to get to go home after this. And they've played well, but they're 3.5-point road favorites in Atlanta tonight, 233 the total.
Yeah, this should be a really good game because Phoenix, I jokingly called them last week the Indiana Hoosiers of the NBA because the sum of the parts, that whole thing, like they're really strong. They play well. They're well coached. They play hard. They're everything you want if you're going to buy a ticket to an NBA game because they have star power with Booker. They have a bunch of threes, and these guys bust their tails, and they attack the rim too, and they play well defensively. So you got to like them. I like this Hawks team without Trae Young. So there's a lot to like there. They have some elite players with the great barrier thief. I think it's tough to lay 3.5, but I'm not grabbing the home points either. I think the Suns are that good. And typically at the end of a road trip, teams run through the tape. It's that sort of like 4th out of 6 games is where they lay an egg typically, like the Raptors did at the Lakers.
The Pacers and the Thunder in OKC, 15.5.
Such a big number, but I don't want any part of the Pacers. Right? Like this Thunder second unit can blow teams out. Then they're not great. OKC's got some issues, right? Jalen Williams is hurt. Hartenstein's hurt. I think AJ Walker missed, some of the last game. So they're not like flawless. They weren't like they were when they started 24-1. But I don't want the Pacers. There's no like huge game tomorrow. They're looking ahead to they being OKC. It's a home weekend. They have Indiana tonight, Toronto Sunday. They probably blow them out and cover, but no need to get involved.
No need at all. Another big number.
I'll say this about the Pacers. Their offense is slowed down. So that team total against the Celtics we talked about the other night, that went under as well.
Yeah.
They only mustered, what was it? 104. 104 in the previous game, 78 against Detroit. So I actually think the team total is probably a good bet. Now, if you do the math, you're looking at like 105. So that's why it's a little can't get involved.
And then if anyone's interested, the Kings are getting 12 in Cleveland and the Pelicans are getting 6 in Memphis. Those are the other 2 games on the card tonight. If anyone has any interest.
239.5. You want to bet over?
Up and away. I love those big totals. Pelicans and the Grizz. Now, you always say Grizz as a favorite. Grizz laying 6.
Yeah, that's and then off a tough loss too, like in the final seconds against Atlanta. They probably roll them.
Probably do. There you go. NBA for tonight. Of course, Betting Weekly live here. Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. If you like what you see, as you should, make sure you subscribe to the Betting Weekly Studios channel on YouTube. You can check us out and all of our other shows, including released earlier today, Betting Weekly Extra Time. Dan Roebuck, Steve Wiss, and James Eastham as they get ready share their best bets for a very busy Week 21 of European soccer. Juventus and Napoli going at it this weekend. So Dan, Steve, and James have got you set up. Betting Weekly Extra Time on the Betting Weekly Studios channel. All right, hoops now. We're not done. College hoops, including a couple games tonight, actually. Doug, for us to jump into, including Ohio State and Michigan getting together, not as big as when they get together in football, but getting together on the hardwood. Minus 16.5 for the Wolverines at home in Ann Arbor, 164.5 the total.
Feels a little too high. Now, Michigan's been much better at home than on the road. They've been really a hard fade on the road. But Ohio State's pretty reliable. I think if I'm playing this game, I'm taking the points. Buckeyes play hard enough that they can disrupt things, and that's how I would play it. That's what I'm reading, but I'm not going to get involved.
16.5 in a rivalry game does seem like a lot.
Trey Burke, jersey retirement night or number retirement night. So, and he's from Columbus, I believe.
Good for they picked the right night to do it then, I guess. They did it the night the Buckeyes were in town. Nice job. St. Louis, of course, who is now ranked as they head to the Bonnies. This is actually coming up in about 45 minutes. St. Louis minus 7.5 on the road, 18-1 the Billikens, 158.5 the total.
Yeah, Henry in the chat says to take the Bonnies, they are decent. I would argue they're not. I respect Henry and all. I think this St. Louis team's for real. They got the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. There's a lot to like for St. Louis. I think the Billikens win by double digits. Not a bet for me, but I don't think I want any part of this Bonnies team.
You have any interest in Rutgers getting 7.5 at home against Indiana tonight? We have Rutgers, Indiana in the Big Ten as well. Man, Rutgers stinks this year.
I mean, IU's no picnic either, but they've lost 4 or 5 straight, but that's all been like the elite. The worst of those 4, I think, is Iowa, right? But going to the rack and laying that kind of lumber, I mean, Rutgers probably the worst team in the Big Ten. I'm not convinced that they are, but they probably are. Early sharp money on the Scarlet Knights. Rutgers has covered back-to-back games, so they're losing, but they're covering, although they were getting double digits in those games.
Yeah.
Dog or pass for me.
Dog or pass. I tried my hardest to find something in all these NEC games on Friday night, Doug, but I just couldn't. I just couldn't bring myself to find
the Ivy League action, by the way. What happened to that on Friday?
Wagner, Lemoyne. I just couldn't. I couldn't find a way to get involved. But that doesn't mean we don't have the late night Mountain West game of the day. We always love late night in the Mountain West. Utah State minus 5.5 in Fort Collins against the Rams, 148.5.
So, I've talked about these kind of things where I think they happen in pairs, right? The Aggies blew a double-digit lead in the second half and lost by double digits as a 16-point favorite to UNLV. Really, really strange sort of outcome. And then that, I believe, came after they lost to Grand Canyon. So kind of strange. Now they're at Colorado State, who's solid. Remember, we were on the Rams the other night.
Right.
I believe we were. Playing good old Air Force. So I think Utah State off back-to-back losses, I think they're a banger in the first half. I think the 5.5 could get tricky. I think I was working on a betting trend and really spending way too much time vlogging this, but I had a little theory that teams who play Air Force and roll, the next game they're a little too comfortable and overconfident. They think they're better than they are, and they just get they underperform, right? Okay. You kind of Air Force makes you overconfident after you beat them. And you think you're all world. So I think that's got to be part of this. So CSU had lost, I think, back-to-back games. Then they played Air Force and got back. They won by 29 or whatever it was. I think Utah State off back-to-back losses, they're comfortable in altitude. First half, 1 possession. I think that's the right angle here.
All right, a few good ones on Saturday. Some of the heavy hitter games for the weekend. Villanova visits UConn. Now, this game's in Hartford at the Bank, not in Stores, in Hartford.
They call it
you.
the bank.
The
Interesting.
bank, whatever, that doesn't play.
XL Center. Yeah.
The XL Center. They actually do. It is called
Right on
something
Trumbull Street. Right on Trumbull Street.
Yeah,
I used
it's
to live
a
there.
mall. It's in a mall, and it does have some bank did buy the naming rights, Doug. So, but it'll always be the XL Center to us. Who grew up with it as that. 9.5 for UConn at 136.5.
I lean to the Huskies here. Nova sort of plays up the competition and down the competition. It's going to be right around the number, but Danny Hurley knows what he's doing. He's going to push the right buttons. You see the net rank for Ken Palm. They're legit, man. This is where Hurley sort of flexes, and not that Nova's poorly coached or anything, but I'd lay it before I took it, but no nothing here.
If you want a real heavy hitter game, how about this? Illinois and Purdue coming up tomorrow in West Lafayette. Purdue minus 4.5, 150.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the home team here. Broswell's out, obviously, for Illinois. I think Purdue. Yeah, look, when you have these ATS records, both teams sort of around 500, and Purdue and things like that, you really got to be careful saying, "Oh, they've failed to cover 4 straight." Like Purdue not covering or covering is a 19.5-point favorite against like Penn State. Like it doesn't really apply here. It's just a different animal, right? Unless the market's just been totally off on a team or they're missing players like we talk about with Air Force and San Jose State. Like, I just think this number's come up for a reason. I liked it earlier at 2.5, 3.5. Now it's 4.5. It's getting to a point where it might be a little too much. And these games come down to the wire. Illinois has been really strong of late, but I just be careful when you have these sort of big high profile showdowns, ranked versus ranked. I really don't care how they did as a 16.5-point favorite or that they were 6.5 at UCLA and lost outright, whatever it was. I think it's a good spot to back Purdue. The problem is you're asking them to do more than just win once the line reaches 4.5.
Early start at Virginia just after noon East on Saturday for North Carolina and the Cavs. Virginia minus 6.5, 148.5.
Give me the who's here. I'm not so sure North Carolina's that great. Now they did bounce back and won convincingly, and I was on the dog in the last game, but they're just not that great. I think Virginia's really good. I like the first half team total, one of those things. I think they can score at will on this UNC defense. I like them quite a bit.
Good one here in the Big 12. Houston and Texas Tech getting together Saturday afternoon. Houston, the road favorite here, minus 2.5.
Yeah, this is my favorite play of all these Saturday slate ones. I like Texas Tech first half. They had a 6-point lead, 8-point lead, something like that at Houston, blew it. I think they bounced back. You're giving me a 1.5. I think they're going to be a hungrier team. Cougs are legit, championship contender, everything you want in it. But this is a real team as well, this Tech team. I know Beard's not there, the team that went to the championship game, but this is still a program on the come. And this is a team that has championship aspirations as well. They just don't have as established as a coach as Sampson, but he's very good. I think they're going to have a lead at halftime, so I like the plus 1.5.
A late night potential later in the night banger between Tennessee and Alabama. We always love big total. 166.5. Bama minus 4.5.
I've touched on it. It's just really hard to handicap this Alabama team. I can't believe Tennessee's not ranked. But that's, we have really good teams in the bottom sort of 7 teams, right? Like bottom of the 25 is Carolina. I think they're better, but Kansas is 19th. Clemson, Bama's only 17th. So I would say over. I think the Vols, obviously defense is their calling card, but they play much better offense. They don't have that sort of muck it up offense. The tempo's really slow, but they're going to have to run. Alabama's going to want to score before that defense gets set up in the half court. I like the Tide here. And I like the Tide to dictate the pace. So I'm going to roll with the over.
2 really fast ones for me, Doug, that caught my eye because the chat box always likes to tell me this. I always play the unranked team favorite at home against the ranked team. That tomorrow would be Texas against Georgia. Texas is a very short home favorite against the Georgia Bulldogs tomorrow, so I'll be on Texas. And the other one that caught my eye, the holy war on the hardwood. There it is. Henry said it. Texas favorite at home against Georgia. You know that I'm going to be on there. How about this? 18, like huge number here. I think 18.5 Utah's getting against BYU. Now, they already played a couple weeks ago. It was a 5-point game at Utah's place.
Right, I remember that game.
Utah stinks, but they've actually, they did beat TCU. They've played some games close. This is a lot of lumber here. 19.5. Let's go with the Utes.
I like that call a lot. Good for you.
All right. So I threw one in there too. I found one that caught my eye for Saturday. Good day at college hoops coming up to get us to Championship Sunday. One more time, I do have to tell you, make sure you get involved in all of our Australian Open action, including on your Bet Rivers app. Enter the bonus code BWAO. That's the letter O, 26. In your Bet Rivers app to get a $10 bonus bet to use on an Australian Open wager. That code again is BWAO26. Offer expires on January 31st. Must be 21. Eligible players only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Also, when you log into the Bet Rivers app, you get a daily Australian Open profit boost to use on the day's matches. Australian Open on fire. All right, hockey. Actually, a busy Friday. Fridays are usually kind of light in the NHL, but they actually have 8 games tonight. And I'll start, Doug, by, as I like to do, I'll take a shot at them first because why not? I'm a hockey fan. I'm allowed to do that. They have a nationally televised game on ESPN tonight. They have that window, 7 o'clock East, nationally televised game. And they're showing the Lightning and the Blackhawks instead of Mitch Marner returning to Toronto for the first time. Which, as you know, Doug, from last week, the 6-5 crazy overtime game.
Do they have the capabilities to change this?
I'm sure they do, but forget about having the capabilities. That's like the one game on your schedule this year where the biggest free agent signing in the offseason's returning. The place hates him. I mean, the Toronto people showed up in Vegas to boo him last week when they played there. Like, this is going to be vitriol tonight. They can't stand him in Toronto, Mitch Marner, because he left. Meanwhile, they always made fun of Islander fans who were mad when Tavares went to Toronto, but that's something else. The Leafs are here, minus 103 tonight. Knights minus 121. The total's a flat 6. We got like a little
Knights game yesterday was
they tried to come back. There. You said Boston, and they got out to a 4-0 lead, and they tried to blow it. It got to 4-3. But this is a little revenge spot. You talk about these sometimes. You remember this game was very recent. It was last week. Leafs had a 4-2 lead after 2. They had a 5-3 lead with 10 minutes left in the third period, and they blew it in Vegas. I think the Leafs I think they're going to get a little energy from the crowd tonight, all hating on Marner. I think that the Leafs come out, and this time they'll get a lead and not blow it. In Vegas playing second night of a back-to-back too. I'm going to take the Leafs tonight, Doug, minus 103.
I would agree with you. I think that's a really sharp play. Do you like first period or something like that in the two-way line?
Probably. Look, I'm just going to play the game, but I could see them jumping on them. Like was it? 3-1 they led after 1 in Vegas last week. They jumped on them fairly quickly. I could see.
I think they're going to want this game more. I would think.
I would think so. Look, now here's my one bit of pause. I think that the night players, and there's a lot of veteran players here on Vegas, and I think they saw the beating this kid took just in their own building from the Toronto fans that showed up. They might have his back a lot tonight, and they might be a little bit more up for this game than they would a usual road game on the East Coast. Maybe. It's possible. But there's one thing about this Marner, and you saw what his anytime goal is. And normally this is something that I would probably jump all over, Doug, is the guy returning to play his old team. Marner left because, and I don't blame him for leaving. They're maniacs up there. He couldn't really handle it, dealing with all the Toronto media and all the Toronto pressure and all of those things. I think he likes that he's now in Vegas without a lot of pressure, plenty of money on a winning team, not the focal point. I don't know if he's got the spine tonight to go out and score against his former team here at plus 225. So I'm actually not going to take Marner this evening.
I wouldn't take the bait.
I'm going Toronto. I think this is a Maple Leaf night. They're going to give the fans a little something with Marner in town. That's my spot for that. Includes elsewhere. I mean, the Lightning are a massive favorite against Chicago. The Avalanche are a massive favorite tonight as well. I know that you had kind of had that earmarked.
Well, let's talk about that Avalanche squad. Back-to-back losses.
Back-to-back losses. And they have Philly coming in, who just yacked up a game in Utah. This is a big number. Minus 335. Flyers plus 245 and 6.5. The puck line's
Now,
minus 118 for Colorado.
This is where I like to apply my live wagering. Okay. So 335 is a monster number.
Yep.
But for it not to be too big of a number, do you see the Flyers scoring first? Do you see the Flyers being tied late second period or later? Because early second, if it's tied, I still think the Avs are minus 300-ish. First period tied, similar. Now the Flyers get the first goal, and if the Flyers lead second period, then we're talking. But at some point in the game, that 330 could very easily be, I don't know, value. Again, I don't know. Maybe this is, I don't know, the NBA bleeding over to the NHL. They don't care, even though they lost back-to-back. I think they do care. I think they're going to bring it tonight.
Okay. So they're going to tee it high and let it fly and beat up. You want to do a team total for Colorado? You want to light them up there? What about
I'm asking you. I'm asking. I'm applying my gambling philosophies to the hockey.
How about a regulation team total for them? Over 4 is plus 110.
That's high. No, thank you.
That's regulation. Over 4 plus 110.
I like minus 195 regulation win on the 3-way.
How about, and maybe I'm going, minus 2.5 plus 150. I was going to try to sneak a good one in there at minus 2.5. But I would need more than plus 150 to win by 3 goals. Ugh. This isn't easy, Doug. There's a lot. These are big numbers we're dealing with here.
You expect them to win?
I expect Colorado to win. And here's the other part of this. Now, I know it's not a back-to-back, and it's been a lot more prevalent back-to-back nights. But these East teams taking these trips to the mountains, Utah, Colorado, the second game has not been fun for them. Now, even more so when it's a legitimate back-to-back. They had a day off. They didn't play yesterday. They played Wednesday night in Utah. They're playing tonight. Remember, they played in Vegas Monday. So this is 3 straight games. They've been on all week long out here in the mountain zone. And now with the high elevation.
It's probably not part of the handicap, but the Flyers have the Islanders on Monday.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think
recent enough.
I don't think that has enough there. Look, I think it's hard to find something here.
Okay. Yeah. Price is right for 335. Okay.
I think, look, I think this is a game tonight that this is one of these classics. Maybe we hope the Flyers have a lead after one. Maybe the Flyers do score early and we can get the Avalanche at something a little bit better. It's just probably one to watch live, Doug, and see if we can get something a little bit more appealing for later on.
Okay with that.
Blues and Stars, man, what a gutless effort by the Stars last night, losing 1-0 in Columbus. They're home tonight, minus 175 to St. Louis. The Caps are in Calgary against the Flames as a road favorite. The Ducks are in Seattle against the Kraken. Kraken, minus 122. That totals a flat 6. The Devils are in Vancouver as a road favorite. Man, how about all these East teams? Washington, the Devils, all road favorites here out west against these teams. And then the Rangers are at the tank. The Rangers are awful right now. Sharks
blowing up their team as well. It's trading pieces.
This is the Sharks' first home game after that long East Coast trip. I think it's the Sharks.
6.5's high. 6.5 feels high.
I don't know if I could do the late night Shark Tank over, but I could do the Sharks.
I agree.
I think the Sharks are the play tonight. I know it's tough to probably back them off that long road trip, but
I would play under if anything.
The Rangers stink. They really do. So there you go. That's your night in hockey. All right, best bets in the Daily Double here for a Friday night on Betting Weekly Live. I felt real good about just talking about it right now, Doug, so I'm doing it. I'm taking Toronto tonight at home against Vegas. Crowd's going to be going nuts, booing Marner the entire night. They blew a 2-goal lead against them last week in Vegas. I think that they're going to be jacked up for that. Give me the Leafs minus 103 against Vegas.
Right there with you. I think that's a strong play. You mentioned it. I liked it when you did it. Good with that one. I'm going to go to the NBA. We talked about the team that lost by 1 million. First game back. Now, I don't want to have to fade the Celtics 3-point shooting. So I'm just going to go with the Nets first quarter team total over 26.5. You might be wondering, the last team we saw this, the Jazz, right? They lost by 55. First quarter of the next game, 34 points. So very offensive minded. I think the Nets can get some points. Celtics, they're not exactly up for a game in Brooklyn. Brooklyn's not a sexy opponent or anything like that. I think the Nets will get some points. 26.5 is pretty low in today's NBA.
All right, I like it. So daily double for tonight, a Friday night, heading for 2 in a row into the weekend, hopefully. Toronto money line against Vegas. Nets first quarter team total over 26.5 at home against Boston. Plus 272 tonight for the daily double. Let's go.
We got to make it easier on the house. 252 was too easy, so we got to go higher.
We got to go higher. 272 for us tonight. Toronto and the Nets first quarter team total over the Betting Weekly Live daily double for tonight. Doug, great job as always. Let's have a great weekend. Enjoy the games on Sunday. We, of course, will be back on Monday, 4 p.m. East, 1 p.m. Pacific, Betting Weekly Live, and we will know our Super Bowl 60 matchup and our 2 weeks of getting ready for whoever it's going to be. We will start that on Monday. Plenty of games, of course, that we have to go through on Monday night as well. Betting Weekly Live, of course, Betting Weekly Studios, part of the Bet Rivers Network. Mike Carver, Doug Kezirian, have a great weekend, and we will see you back here on Monday at 4 East.